Hi, I'm Jeff, and you're here. Target or need to cut me a check because that's some free clout.
In my pocket, dreaming about making my hood glow.
Now, before we get started, Black lives do have and will always matter. There'll be links in the description for you to check out. Oh, and just the rest of the killers of Breonna Taylor. Today, let me drink some water first, honey, because it's my second video. Today we have our wrap up. This month I read a total of 9 books, so I didn't finish it, and no, I'm not gonna DNF it because I'm pretty intrigued now, so I kind of want to finish it. I didn't finish This Is How It Always Is, but that's okay because I've recycled that onto next month. Little Fires Everywhere, I switched from reading it to listening to it, and I still haven't finished it. And Daughters of Marie, from reading to listening to it. This month I read 2,893 pages. The hours that I tracked on my app total 27 hours and 37 minutes. 1 3-star, 1 4-star, and 1 4.5 star, and still 6 5-stars. I'm going to talk about the books based on the star ranking. My 3-star read, honey, was Queenie by Candace Cardi Williams. This book I found to be so annoying. This book I found to be so frustrating. Queenie was frustrating. She's a bad friend. She's a bad person. Maybe I'm just taking that out on her, but as for me in my house and in this period that I read it, it's a 3-star for me. Queenie was so irresponsible. For example, when she had sex with that black man in his car and didn't even enjoy it, and then she got mad when the wife confronted her, or the second time when she had unprotected sex with a guy and then went to go get tested, and the doctor was like, you gotta chill out having all that unprotected sex. So then she went back the same day and called that man again for more unprotected sex, and it wasn't even good. She wasn't even enjoying it. I don't know why you're calling people back if the sex is bad. I just don't get it. I don't know.
I don't understand. I don't understand, bitch. Don't understand. I don't understand, bitch.
She's very self-centered, very self-absorbed. Its saving grace was its accurate representation of Caribbean people when it comes to mental health. You got the whole no, we don't do therapy, the whole you're putting shame and dishonor on our family if you go to therapy, the whole idea that black people, Caribbean people, Jamaican people, Haitian people don't do therapy. That was executed very well. And oh, I also thought the ending was rushed. I just was not pleased. I was not thrilled. I buddy read this with Michelle and she felt the same way. My 4-star read, surprising to me actually, is Belle by Beverly Jenkins. I say this in every video. Historical fictions are not my thing. But this was a good book. Like, this was a good book. This follows 16-year-old Belle Harper. She escapes from slavery, is living in the Best household, falls in love with Daniel Best. He falls in love with her. They live a happy, I love you, and that's how it ends. And it was like, okay, but we already knew that. But I guess this ending was a little less to be desired as well. But I mean, it is what it is. I gave this 4 stars. The representation was really good. The character development was really good. She eventually learned how to read. She didn't let her past define her present. She was sewing. She was making money. She was living her best life. She was finding love. She ended up, I'm here for the black love. Because that to me just seems more accurate and not like, like the Thomas Jefferson and Sally situation. It wasn't 5 stars for me because there were typos. It was like she was in a rush to finish writing it. Simple spelling errors and simple grammar errors towards the end of the book, and that really just frustrated me. Our 4.5 star is The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. I think if I read this before Clap When You Land, I would have given it 5 stars, but I read Clap When You Land first. This book was good. Xiomara Batista, I loved her. The poetry in this book was fantastic. Again, I really took off the 0.5 because I didn't relate to this as hard as I related to Clap When You Land, but I did relate to this very much so. I went to Catholic school for 12 years, and the whole like confirmation thing, so I also related to the fact that she was raised in a religious household, because though I'm not Catholic, I am Seventh-day Adventist, and I was raised in a religious household. And you know, like, there comes a time where you question things, you question God, you question his existence, you question your existence, you question your role in society, in the church, being a woman. So I think that was done very well. The writing was fantastic. It was a good book. It just didn't do for me what Clap When You Land did for me, and that's why I had to dock it 0.5 points. And I really do recommend this. So now let's get on to the 5-star reads. First 5-star read we have is The Wives, which I will put a picture of here, and we'll leave it up while I talk about it. The Wives by Taryn Fisher. I don't have my physical copy because literally as soon as I finished reading it, my friend Jennifer she hit me up on Instagram. She was like, I want to read The Wives, and I just couldn't wait for her to go pick it up at Target like I did. So I drove to her house 12 minutes away, and I dropped that thing off. Like, y'all, the suspense, the plot, the characters, the development. Taryn Fisher, this is what she did, okay? Like, it was a point where I was just like, Taryn, you're wrong. I was literally questioning her. I was like, Taryn, you're wrong, because I remember you said this about this. And then Taryn's probably like, yeah, I know I said this about that, but now it's not that. Boom. No, you in pottery class like Ghost, okay? And you making a nice little cup, and your cup is fine. You put it in the oven to bake. Oh, what do they do? Bake? When you put the bake, right? I don't know. And then you taking it out the oven because you think you got it. Like, this is the best cup I done ever made. And the cup falls and breaks. Right? So instead of just making a new cup, which would be a new book, you try to put that cup together, and the pieces, y'all, this book right here.
Stop! I could have dropped my croissant.
Can't tell me nothing about no Taryn Fisher and The Wives. 5 out of 5. If I could give it a 12 out of 5, I would have. The use of point of view was fantastic. You were left questioning yourself. Not even the characters, not even the story. You were questioning yourself. I was questioning myself. I was like, didn't I just read this? And then now you saying that? Ooh. Child. Y'all just let me know if y'all want a spoiler review or a spoiler-free review. And y'all can find it at y'all local Target. Period. Target or Taryn Fisher need to cut me a check, because that's some free clout. We got School of the Wolven Way by Nevelious Jordan. This book, okay, so when I was taking my little notes, I actually had this book down as a 4-star. But when I record, because this is my second recording of this, when I recorded it the first time, the way I was talking about it and the way that the memories came back to my mind, it was like, open the floodgates of heaven, let it rain. I remembered why I love this book so much. Now, this book follows Julien Preux. He gets accepted into Edenshire Academy's summer enrichment program. When he gets there, okay, this doesn't only follow Julien though, which I appreciate. The representation, everybody was equal, from Julien, the main character, to Piper, to Noah, to Sister, to the father Nigel. Like, this book was so good. The sorority, the whole magic system, and the whole use of ancestral magic, like, it was giving me action-packed. It was giving me moving pieces. It was giving me life. This book was so good. Like, whew. I will recommend this. And the Haitian representation, amazing. And the fact that it was very much so DC based, District of Columbia, not the comic universe. It was very good. It was relatable. It was a relatable magic story. Like, the whole concept of the sorority being the one thing, but and the fact that the fight at the end with the, what that thing called? I even felt bad for the villain. And there was even a little bit of romance in here, but it was just like little hints of romance. It wasn't like, you know how some fantasy stories, once the romance pops up, like the magic takes a back seat to the romance? No, this book gave me, look, I might like you, but we have bigger fish to fry. Amazon this. I'm gonna have a link for this one specifically. Support independent Black authors. Our next 5-star read should come as no surprise to anybody, okay? It's War Girls by Tochi Onyebuchi. He can put his name on anything and I will read and I will give 5 stars. I will see the cover, I will see his name. Oh, 5 stars automatically. This book here, y'all. Buddy read this with Michelle, as y'all know. But I'm not buddy reading with Michelle, I'm buddy reading with Kayla. Like,
it is what it is. It is what it is.
Okay. I'm speechless. I don't have any words. The plot progression, I was frustrated when I needed to be frustrated. For example, and it was like, yeah, now I know y'all not finna waste my time. Ethan's just like, very good, very good. No, girl, you better. The humanity that was portrayed, especially with Agu, because he was basically a slave. He was a slave cyborg. With no real feelings, but Onyi like tapped into that. This book was so good. The suspense, did I say plot progression already? The story was moving. Tochi has a way of kind of writing slowly to the point where you get used to him and his slow progressions, and then he's like, oh, you're used to it, bet, and then it just moves. Like, the love that was portrayed, there was sisterly love, there was a little bit of sapphic love in there, there was a friendship love, there was not even slave master love, because Onyi never regarded Agu as her slave. Just let me know what y'all want, because this book definitely deserves its own review. 5 out of 5, 10 out of 5, 20 out of 5. This book was so good. Our next 5-star review is P.S. I Still Love You. This follows the story. Oh, I watched the movie for To All the Boys I Loved Before, and I will say that I did not appreciate how the movie kind of put the first book and the second book together. Like with the hot tub scene, they made that a part of the first movie, but that situation never happened until the second book. 5 out of 5 stars. This was so good. Of course, annotations. Anything Jenny writes, I will annotate. So good. Of course, Laura Jean gets into some more trouble that can all be avoided by a little bit of communication. She's one of those annoying characters that I'm never annoyed with. And I think that's why I love Jenny Han so much, because she makes the most annoying of people just so relatable. It's still Forget Margot though. Like, I still can't stand Margot. That'll never change. That'll never go away. It is what it is. Baby, this next 5-star is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. Now, this book was fantastic, and I think everybody needs to read it. I think everybody needs to grab it. I think everybody needs to... I read this in like 2 days. This was super relatable. Camino's story was relatable for me as a Haitian woman. The Haitian representation was amazing. The story was accurate. How her friend had to stay with Camino for the school year while her parents go to America. Like, I've heard that story before. That's not a new story within the Haitian community. The idea of, oh yeah, I'm going back to Haiti for 3 months to handle my affairs, or I'm going to America for 3 months to handle my affairs. Can you watch my child for me? Like, that's nothing new. And when I read that, I was like, you know what? Yeah, like Pierre Lee probably did that down the street yesterday. You know, I don't know nobody named Pierre Lee, but you know, just in case, you know what I'm saying. Yahira's story was nice. Her and her significant other, that little side story in itself was completely beautiful. The strength of the women that was portrayed in this, because when Camino gets... this was a riveting story filled with beautiful words about the strength of women and the strength of sisterhood and the strength of loving your homeland. Because I related, okay, boom, I especially related Yahaira, I was born in Haiti, right? But I moved here when I was 2. But you can't tell me nothing. Like, there was one part where Yahaira was saying the Dominican Republic is my favorite place on earth, even though I've never been there. Like, how can your favorite place be somewhere you've never been? And it's like, because that place is you. You know what I'm saying? Like, Haiti's my favorite place in the world, and I've never been there. Well, I haven't been there since I moved here. You know what I'm saying? Because the stuff has been going on. But yeah, every single character in this book I related to in some way. And I think everybody needs to read this. This book was a 5 out of 5 for me. This was such a good book, y'all. This was such a good book. The last book in the wrap up that I have to talk about is The Wicker King by Kay Ancrum. This book, one, is heavy. I don't know if she was using thicker pages or what, but this book is heavy compared to this, and this book has significantly less pages. It was still a 5 out of 5 for me though. Yeah. I buddy read this with Kayla. Well, actually she finished it before I read it, but I finished it. I was trailing right behind her. I thought this book was about Jack and his mind, right? Girl, no. This book is about August, and I even read the author's note. And I don't read author's notes to books, but I read the author's note, and I love how every character was significant, even if they weren't a main character. And I need side stories. I need stories about the twins. I need stories about Rena. I need stories, because it was the twins that pulled August aside and was like, hey yo, I think something's up with Jack. Like, I need to know, because even though they say that their mom was a psychologist and that's what she did for a living, it's like, how are these high school students realizing this? Like, what have y'all gone through in y'all lives that made y'all just so open and receptive and just so understanding that, hey, something might be wrong here? Rena, I need to know her story, because that tough love baby, where did it come from? Like, oh, y'all can't come back until he gets some help. I'm not gonna enable. Like, where did you learn that, girl? And even the people who weren't talked about were main characters. And Kay Ancrum even said that. She said the people who weren't mentioned, the counselors, because they were never informed, or maybe they saw signs and they just didn't do anything, their characters. The principal, even though the principal didn't do anything except suspend people and really just not understand why August, right? Why August was dealing drugs in the first place. He was dealing drugs because he needed to put food on his table. Like, the adults who turned a blind eye, Jack's father, the neglect, August's mother, the neglect, the school, the neglect, even the people who neglected them, they had such an important and pivotal role in this story. I'm not gonna spoil it. If y'all want a review of this one as well, please let me know. I can't get into too much detail because I might spoil it, but they find themselves in a situation towards the end, and then you find out that this book is really about August and not Jack. Like, that's all I can say. Like, they both depended on each other so much, right? The fact that Jack knew, and then when you find out the reason that Jack was even falling into these delusions in the first place, this book was so good. And 5 out of 5, 10 out of 5, 30 out of 5. I love this book so much, and it deserves all the awards. And that's all I gotta say about that. Alright, that's all the books that I have, all the books that I read. That's about it. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. I'm rambling, and I shouldn't be, because I have more books to read, but I will see you seeing me in the next one. Bye!